This skill is so useful. Qinfeng couldn't help but sigh that this mythical Shadow Blade has completely become another skill. Of course, there is still something missing now. Now Shadow Blade can only transfer one buff with one shot. If I can transfer all the buffs of the opponent with one Shadow Blade, it will be great. Qinfeng couldn't help thinking, at this time, the remaining 59 Yamato Tenjin players who attacked him had completely lost confidence and fell into despair. The middle-aged woman of the teleporter turned and fled. Unfortunately, Qinfeng casually shot 2 Shadow Blades, stole her invincible effect, and shot her on the spot. There was also an assassin who saw this and fell into invisibility on the spot, turned around and flew away. However, Qinfeng just glanced at him indifferently, and the assassin's invisibility was broken, and he instantly fell into a stripped state and completely lost his vision, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. Although Qinfeng was not in stealth mode, the super high level anti-stealth of Umbra Perception was not effective. But Qinfeng's Assassin's Intuition skill has a built-in level 5 anti-stealth level, and the opponent's stealth level is not more than level 5. Qinfeng saw through it at a glance. After losing his 5 senses, the assassin fell into panic, knowing nothing, just running wildly, not even knowing that he had hit the wall, still screaming, and constantly hitting the wall with his head. It was as if he had lost his mind. This scene made the remaining people around terrified. Immediately, someone raised his hands to surrender. Don't surrender. He can't let us go. Let's run separately. While there are still 2 seconds of invincibility, he can't kill all of us with single target damage alone. Some people made a decision immediately. Turn around and run away. In the invincible state, Qinfeng really couldn't kill all the opponents at once. But if you want to run, it is definitely impossible. Qinfeng did not chase him. He watched the other party flee in all directions, and said lightly, "Osirio, Grey Chicken, I leave it to you. Don't leave any of them." As for the skin injury Qinfeng himself suffered, it was not effective at all, because he transferred the invincibility effect from the other party. When the damage took effect, Qinfeng was in an invincible state and directly resisted all the damage. So, this wave of assassination action mentioned by Grey Chicken was declared a failure in just a few seconds. The sneak attackers fled in all directions. Osirio and Grey Chicken had a great time. They were like cats catching mice, and even cooperated with each other. Osirio observed everyone's movements in the sky, and then let Grey Chicken take action. Now Grey Chicken is level 30, although it is still in its infancy. Its skill damage is already very high. It is easy to deal with some ordinary players. Little Chicken, there's one on your left. Yes, hiding in the toilet. The Grey Chicken heard this and immediately rushed into the toilet, flapped its wings, and broke into the door fiercely. Osirio laughed. "No. Why are you in the men's toilet? It's in the women's toilet next door." The Grey Chicken was furious. He's a man. Why is he running to the women's toilet? He's more shameless than the Emperor. Qinfeng, what the hell does this have to do with me? Fortunately, this matter was easily resolved. When the group of sneak attackers fled in all directions, the dozens of Sakura country officials who were negotiating with Qinfeng were dumbfounded. They never expected that at this critical moment, there would be people who would spontaneously attack Shadow. Listen to our explanation. These people are not officially assigned by us. They were extremely nervous. Qinfeng certainly knew that it was not an official problem. After all, the other party's conspiracy from beginning to end was seen by Huiji, and it had nothing to do with the official. But knowing is one thing. But it does not mean that Qinfeng will just let it go. You say it doesn't matter, so it doesn't matter, Qinfeng said playfully. Well, let's do this. Just take my price just now, 30,000 years of life. If you don't pay this price, I will leave. And before I leave, I have to get 30,000 years of life from you before I leave. As for how to get it, it depends on my mood. He was speaking Daxia language. When the other party's translator translated the words to the leading official, the official's face suddenly turned black. This is simply robbery. The key is that he has no place to reason. Originally, Qinfeng was negotiating with them under the banner of helping them kill the boss. But now, their people tried to kill Qinfeng and failed. Then Qinfeng can do whatever he wants? Anyway, whatever he does is counterattack. Legitimate defense. A bunch of idiots from the Yamato God Guild actually gave assist to Shadow. Hurry up and discuss with the higher-ups. The Dongdu government alone cannot provide 30,000 years of lifespan. In fact, the lifespans of the more than 130,000 people just killed by the long-tailed snake demoness alone added up to more than 60,000 years that Qinfeng picked up. But the official lifespans that need to be handed over cannot be taken from everyone very quickly. Qinfeng got the other party's reply. The other party is willing to pay 30,000 years of lifespan, but it needs to be delivered after Qinfeng kills the long-tailed snake demoness. Before that, they can raise money first. The other party's reasons are also very sufficient. Qinfeng kills the boss first, so there is no need to worry about their counterattack regret, because they dare not go back on their word. And if they pay first, if Qinfeng goes back on his word, they will be stupid. That makes sense. Qinfeng was too lazy to argue with the other party. Just kill the boss first. Anyway, it will be killed sooner or later. As for whether the other party will go back on their word and not give life after killing the boss, Qinfeng has never worried about this. After all, the area of Sakura country is too small and it is close to Daxia. Qinfeng's casual turn is enough for them. So he agreed. Okay. In that case, Give me the boss location. I will go online into the game and teleport to Dongdu. Qinfeng knew that under normal circumstances, the boss would pass through the crack and return to the crack through which it had previously landed in reality. That is, the ruins of Dongdu. In the previous life, she hid after she succeeded. But in this life, all the life she had worked so hard to get was taken away by Qinfeng. So Qinfeng guessed that this beautiful snake boss should be killing people in the ruins of Dongdu. So the official of Sakura country was so anxious. In fact, Qinfeng's guess was not wrong. But what was unexpected was that after such a short period of wrangling, the situation actually changed. When Qinfeng asked the official about the location of the long-tailed snake demon, the other party's face changed a little. What? The boss is gone. Baka. Useless idiot. The boss is so high, you can't keep an eye on it. What? The person who was following was killed, and then the boss disappeared. What are you still reporting to me? Hurry up and get someone to find it. Are you afraid of her instant death affix in the game? Qinfeng listened to the other party scolding his men, but he didn't care. Anyway, he still had a lot of light balls that he hadn't absorbed, and it would take more than half an hour. The boss disappeared. Did he hide? Are you afraid of being killed by me? Qinfeng didn't care. Anyway, he still had to absorb the light ball for more than half an hour. If the Sakura country officials hadn't found the boss by then, he would go back and bring the ghost spirit here. That boss had killed so many people. For the ghost spirit, it was like a big sun, with nowhere to escape. Just as Qinfeng was absorbing the life and waiting, the attack by the Yamato God Guild just now had quickly spread among the Dongdu player circle. Originally, there were many people, like the people in the Yamato God Guild, who were indignant and felt that Qinfeng was too arrogant and wanted to form a team to deal with Qinfeng. As a result, when this happened, all of them were silent. The power of shadow far exceeded all of their expectations. It has nothing to do with whether it is invisible or not, although Qinfeng has already secured the title of No One in the world, all over the world. But it is obvious that most people have not seen it with their own eyes and do not know how powerful Qinfeng is now. They only learned from some information channels that Qinfeng is already level 30, and he killed the epic boss alone for the first time. They know that Qinfeng's damage must be extremely high, but they don't know more specific things. At this moment, the failure of the raid of the Yamato Tenjin Guild made the players in Sakura country and Dongdu understand it all at once. The reason why Shadow is the world's #1 is not just because of its high output. What's more terrifying is that its survivability is also ridiculously strong. Facing the siege of 60 Dongdu strongmen, Shadow was unscathed, which has already explained everything. You know, the 60 players of the Yamato Tenjin Guild are also well known in Dongdu, and they are one of the first 3 teams to kill the platinum level boss in Dongdu. Now, we are working with several other teams to try to open up the emerald boss, although we have not succeeded yet. We have great hope. Each of them has a DPS of 3, Xiaozhen to 5, Dalin. If 60 people focus on one target, they should be able to deal more than 100, Xiaozhen to 200, Xiaozhen damage per second. As a result, they focused on Shadow, but did not cause any damage to Shadow. This is when Shadow is not in stealth mode. Many people around were filming with their mobile phones, so the video quickly spread. Of course, it was mainly sent through the communication crystal ring to play the video on the mobile phone screen. After all, during the Wasteland spreading stage, although the mobile phone can still be used, the network has been disconnected. The video taken by the mobile phone cannot be transmitted through the network. Fortunately, many people now have communication crystal rings in reality. This is something made by the Book of God, and it can still be traded. It is equivalent to the mobile phone of the past era, but it can only communicate with friends and guilds, and there is no public network like before. More and more people saw the scene of Qinfeng being besieged in just a few seconds. Everyone's heart was touched. On the Sakura countryside, many people naturally hoped to kill Shadow and Dongdu, but unfortunately, things did not go as planned. Shadow not only did not die, but also killed the 60-man team without leaving a single piece of armor. Even Shadow himself did not do much. Those members of the Yamato Tenjin Guild team who were fleeing in all directions died one after another inexplicably. That's right. When the Grey Chicken took action, it was in stealth mode, and it shared the effect of Qinfeng's professional skills. It would not show up when launching attacks in stealth mode. It was a living old man. So, this became extremely terrifying in the eyes of the citizens of Sakura country at the scene. Shadow obviously did not move. Shadow's flying dragon was also in the sky. As a result, those people who fled in all directions died one after another. Who killed them? This made countless people gasp, although many people in Sakura country were dissatisfied. They had no choice but to accept it now. When Qinfeng came to Dongdu, it meant that the city was completely controlled by Qinfeng. After just over 10 minutes, the sneaking old Six Phoenix had killed all the dozens of people who escaped, leaving no one behind. The officials of Sakura country standing not far from Qinfeng were talking and whispering to each other. Their expressions changed rapidly. I don't know what they were discussing. Qinfeng saw it, but he didn't make any moves for the time being, and just absorbed the light ball in front of him. In addition, he asked Grey Chicken to go invisible and investigate around. He soon found out a lot of useful information. It turned out that there was a rumor circulating among the current crowd The rumor said that the long-tailed snake god, a statue that killed more than 100,000 people in Dongdu, was moved by the shadow. All this was colluded by the shadow and the boss. A lot of evidence was also listed, such as someone saw the statue being carried by an invisible person, and the shadow appeared as soon as the statue killed someone. And now, the shadow wants to kill the boss and destroy the body. So, in the crowd, an outrageous statement was circulated. Compared with the long-tailed snake demon, the shadow is the biggest real enemy of their Sakura country. There is something even more ridiculous. Gray chicken. Your Majesty, I also heard someone chatting that the boss was forced to kill people by you. Qinfeng almost laughed to death. Yes. It was all forced by me. They came to worship the statue and I forced them. Why didn't I know that I have such magical powers? Of course, what these people think has nothing to do with Qinfeng. Qinfeng can't control everyone's thought. Not to mention that they are from Sakura country. It's normal for these people to think the worst of him. But laughing aside, Qinfeng is very clear that such rumors have spread out, and spread so quickly and so widely. There must be someone behind the scenes deliberately spreading them. What is the purpose of the person behind it? Just to provoke the hatred of the people against me, or have some other ideas? Qinfeng didn't know for the time being, but he soon knew. Because, just half an hour later, the life light ball in front of him was almost completely absorbed by him. Dozens of officials from Sakura country over there finally seemed to have made up their minds. They sent a young woman in an OL uniform, who came forward a little and talked to Qinfeng. Shadow Mr. Shadow. We regret to inform you that we still can't find the trace of the boss. But don't worry, we will not break our promise of 30,000 years of life that we agreed with you. You can go back first. When we have enough life, we will personally send it to the embassy of Daxia and let the Daxia official hand it over to you. As for the boss, if she doesn't show up, we can't keep wasting your time. Right. The Daxia language spoken by this young woman was a little bit not very standard, but it was pretty good. When she spoke, she was cautious, and her eyes looked at Qinfeng carefully, trying to observe Qinfeng's emotions. But unfortunately, Qinfeng was wearing a dark white lifeless mask on his face. It was impossible to see his expression. Hearing the other party say this, Qinfeng almost knew what was going on, and at the same time felt a little funny. Is this a collaboration with the boss? Trying to help the boss get out? Then, use the boss to send the boss to other countries and frame other countries? It's a small life indeed. Qinfeng has sneered secretly. What boss can't be found? How is it possible? If it was a small boss, it would be fine. But the long-tailed snake demon is 7 meters tall, 2 or 3 stories high. If you really want to find it, how can you not find it? So, Qinfeng pretended to be indifferent and reached out to take out a light and shadow crystal from the greedy space, since you all said so. I'll leave first, but before I leave, I'll show you something good. A gift for you. Qinfeng threw out the light and shadow crystal, and a recorded picture was played in the air in front of him. This picture was the picture of Ichiro Tashima's team, who was the first to worship the statue and quietly carried the statue away when he was hiding in the ruins of Dongdu before. It even includes Ichiro Tashima's mumbling about some hidden reward. This was recorded by my cousin in Dongdu. I just found it on his body. I think that so many people died in Dongdu, and their relatives and friends have the right to know the truth and who killed their relatives and friends. Everyone. My cousin is also dead, and I am also a victim. So I understand your feelings, Qinfeng said heavily. Qinfeng was full of righteousness when he said this. It seemed that he was thinking about the family of the deceased completely. To uphold justice for them and let them know the identity of the murderer. Slandering me and making up stories about me behind my back and secretly protecting the boss? Do you really think I don't know who did it? Qinfeng knew who would benefit the most from protecting and hiding the boss. Of course, it was Ichiro Tashima who got the hidden reward. Originally, Qinfeng had not planned to release the light and shadow crystal. After all, if he kept Ichiro Tashima, there might be surprises in the future. But since the other party did not talk about martial ethics, Qinfeng did not need to talk about martial ethics with the other party. If this news was released, Dongdu would probably be in chaos. After all, compared with the Yamato Tenjin team just now, Ichiro Tashima's team was the real top team in Dongdu, ranking absolutely first. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to be alive and kicking after killing so many people in the mumbling state. And now, Ichiro Tashima is in trouble again. Qinfeng is very curious. What measures will the Sakura country take? Of course, this is of no benefit to Qinfeng. It is purely to cause trouble for the Sakura country. Anyway, the more chaotic this place is, the better. As for Qinfeng, after absorbing the lifelike ball in the field, he plans to use the teleportation stone to return to the Evil Spirit Academy on the east coast of Daxia and the Magic City. He plans to bring some corpses back casually, let the ghosts find where the long-tailed snake demon is, and kill it directly. So in the end, after Qinfeng released the light and shadow crystal that recorded Ichiro Tashima's crime, he ignored the shock and disbelief of all the Sakura citizens around him, and took out the teleportation stone by himself. Then, he did bring some corpses. Those were 2 black ponytails, which should have been decent twin ponytails when he was alive. Go home first. Heinfa held the teleportation stone in his hand, and the white light flashed, teleporting him directly back to the east coast of Daxia Magic City, nearly 2,000 kilometers away. In the transmission array of the Evil Spirit Academy, Qinfeng walked out of the white light. Looking around, there are not many people in the Evil Spirit Academy in reality. Most people are still in the game, either upgrading or fighting boss. Even some old men entered the game to find the Eye of Knowledge to play Mahjong. After all, NPCs don't have two bodies like players, either in the game or in reality. They can't exist in two places. In Qinfeng's plan, after killing Mom Virginie and sending her to the Land of Judgment, it is impossible to leave Virginie in the Land of Judgment. Then she can only be sent back to the reality of Blue Star. If we can bring NPCs back to reality in this way, their strength will not be suppressed by the God-forsaken game, nor will they be restricted by the rules of the God-forsaken game. But this method is a bit dangerous. After all, if the NPC brought back has bad intention, then leaving it in the hideout will pose a great risk. But if we confirm that the NPC is harmless and put it in the real hideout, we can guarantee the safety of the real hideout to the greatest extent. You should know that NPCs are very strong. Even the NPCs of ordinary Theocracy Tower are definitely not weak in real strength. For example, the Six-Fingered Wizard, Vickley, and the Moon Crescent Queen Virginie, Qinfeng was not able to beat them. Until now. With the Blade of Judgment and the Son of the Upper Skill, he can deal with them more confidently. Hanfus is on the road to the Evil Spirit Academy. He notified the ghost with the communication crystal ring and asked the little girl to go offline and come to help. Ghost, teacher, I'll be there right away. Qinfeng learned that this girl had just finished fighting a ruin and killed the diamond level boss in it. Although it seemed like they had been fighting for a few days. It was not easy to kill the boss in the end. Soon, a petite and slender figure appeared from the teleportation array. She usually logs in from her room in the Pure Soul Land, so after logging off, she needs to use the Pure Soul Land teleportation array to teleport to the Evil Spirit Academy teleportation array to see the current Qinfeng. When she appeared, she had a pair of small demon horns on her head, which seemed to be a brand new emerald level helmet type equipment that she had just obtained. She swung the yellow spring chain blade in her hand, hooked the ground next to Qinfeng, and pulled her over neatly. Find the murderer. Qinfeng handed her the two black ponytails. Geeling didn't waste any words. She took the hair and activated her ability to track the murderer. Soon she was a little surprised. Teacher, the murderer is so far away in that direction. It's about 1,000 kilometers. She stretched out her hand and pointed in the direction of Sakura country. But in reality in the game, she did not realize that the direction and distance she detected would be the Sakura country. Qinfeng narrowed his eyes and asked, does it mean that the murderer is in reality? Ghost nodded. Yes, that's right. If the other party is in the game, I will get a system prompt. This made Qinfeng a little speechless. It was not easy to drive the beautiful snake back to the game, but it seemed that she was brought back to reality. It was really a bit outrageous. Okay, come with me and kill the murderer, Qinfeng said, waving his hand and letting Ocilio come and stop beside him. Ocilio flew over. Boss lady, I'm here. Qinfeng was speechless. Why change the name again? Ocilio. What else to call it? Qinfeng. Okay, it's better than some human assassin. As for asking this guy to call master, this guy will definitely not agree, but forget about the boss. What the hell is the boss lady? Even Geeling was speechless. But this girl is basically a taciturn person in front of outsiders. She didn't react to what Osirio said. Qinfeng pulled her on the dragon. He took her to the Sakura country. Osirio's speed was getting faster and faster, and soon he flew over the gray clouds and saw an even grayer sky. In the midst of the lightning, Geeling's short hair rubbed against her cheeks, covering her eyes from time to time, but she always kept tracking the murderer. For Qinfeng's request, Geeling didn't ask why, nor who the murderer was, or who the deceased was. In this silent era, what happened in the Sakura country has not been reported back to the country, so she was in a state of complete darkness, but she trusted Qinfeng very much. Suddenly, she thought about it, and a flat rune made of white bones escaped from her arms and handed it to Qinfeng. By the way, teacher, what is this? Is it useful to you? Qinfeng took a look and was stunned. Isn't this a skeleton rune? Before, Hanfeng killed the Emerald Boss skeleton spirit. And because of the achievement of clearing the level without injury, he got Osirio's mount belt and a skeleton rune. Later, after the confrontation with Ichiro Tashima, he killed Skeleton Bishop Nibagorden and obtained the second skeleton rune. I thought that after level 30, I would find a tomb related to the god of skeleton and look for the third one. Unexpectedly, it was taken out by the girl Geeling. After all this time, she's actually attacking the ruins of the god of skeleton recently. Qinfeng couldn't help but sigh, worthy of being able to maintain the top 10 in the world in the previous life when being hunted and wanted. Guiling, this girl, is really talented. The help Qinfeng gave her was really not much. If she really wanted to help, Geeling's combat power would be at least several times stronger now. But if that were the case, her actual combat and on-the-spot response capabilities might be much weaker than now. Compared to the paper combat power such as equipment and skills, Qinfeng thinks that the most fundamental core of whether a player can rise is still combat awareness. Let's put it simply, even if Qinfeng's current attributes, equipment, and skills are given to another person. The other party may be directly killed by the epic boss. So, in terms of combat awareness, Giling is undoubtedly the top level in the world. This also made her soar to the sky after being helped a little by Qin Feng. Although it is definitely not as ridiculous as Qin Feng, but being able to explore the ruins and kill the final diamond level boss at this stage shows how terrifying Guiling's combat talent is. You know, her current paper combat power is not abnormal. And the diamond level boss, refer to the Nightmare Hellflower that Qin Feng killed first. You can fully appreciate how difficult it is to attack this level of boss. But even at such a difficult level, Giling actually killed the boss and finally got a bone rune. Teacher. Giling was a little confused, feeling that Qin Feng seemed a little stupid now. It's okay. This thing is really useful to me. Plus yours. It just makes up 3. Qin Feng thought for a while and said, keep these lifespan. As he said, he gave 5,000 years of life. The value of the bone rune may be priceless to Qin Feng, or it may not be worth much. The key depends on what can be obtained in the tomb ruins of the God of Bones after collecting 3, but no matter what, the value of 5,000 years of life is definitely there. When Guiling saw the 5,000 years of life, she was immediately shocked. It's okay, teacher. Just take it. I have enough life. You have enough? Qin Feng patted her head. I see that there is a gap between your real attributes and the game, and you haven't brought out several skills, right? Do you think it's enough? I knew she was thrifty, but I didn't expect her to be so thrifty. After all, she is someone who works for Qin Feng. If she is reluctant to give up even this little life, people who don't know would think Qin Feng has no money. But 5,000 years is too much. Giling has never seen so many lifespans in her life, and her little face is full of rejection. She fiddles with the chain blade in her hand nervously. Qin Feng, just take it if I give it to you. Guiling. Oh. In the end, she can only choose to obey Qin Feng. Just when Qin Feng took Guiling and tracked all the way to the Sakura country, because of the light and shadow crystal left by Qin Feng before he left. The picture displayed in it made countless Dongdu players fall into confusion. Didn't they say that the shadow colluded with the boss and brought the boss statue here? Why did it become Ichiro Tashima? Fuck Ichiro Tashima. This guy is a Japanese traitor? Right. Wait. Look at the picture carefully and listen to the voice. Ichiro Tashima seems to say that he worshipped the statue and got a hidden reward. Yes. I listened carefully 18 times and confirmed repeatedly that as long as there is one person worshipping the statue later, Ichiro Tashima will get 0 or 0-1 of all attributes. Infinite stacking. No wonder the statue is moved to reality. This is an opportunity to become infinitely stronger. But the boss is obviously using Ichiro Tashima. He killed more than 100,000 people in Dongdu. Ichiro Tashima. You killed my whole family. I will never coexist with you. A series of remarks came out, and the entire Sakura country Dongdu was in chaos, especially Ichiro Tashima, who was still leveling up in the scorching quicksand. When he learned that his actions were recorded by someone using the light and shadow crystal, and released by Shadow, he was completely confused. What's going on? The light and shadow crystal is a high-level item. It is said that it can only be purchased through the high-level Tower of Divine Power, or it can be bought from some NPCs, and the price difference is extremely expensive. It was actually used to record the scene of us moving the statue. Shadow said it was recorded by his cousin. What cousin does he have? Ichiro Tashima was almost crazy. As a result, someone in the team told him that there should be news that Shadow colluded with the boss first, so Shadow released the light and shadow crystal, so he wouldn't release it just before leaving. This made Ichiro Tashima's face change. He quickly looked at the female pastor in the team, Mina Yanagi. As a result, Yanagi Mina looked at him without any guilt. Yes, Tashima-kun. I had someone spread the news. Facts have proved that this successfully dispelled the idea of our official cooperation with Shadow. Now the official no longer allows Shadow to kill the boss, because they already know that the boss can allow Tashima-kun to stack attributes infinitely. So our official is also looking forward to it and hopes that Tashima-kun will rise in the future. We have hidden the goddess statue and are transporting it to the freighter. The first stop is to send it to the northeast of Daxia. Yanagi Mina sneered and said, "Let the stupid Daxia people worship the statue. Now!" Even the Daxia official can't spread the news so quickly. Arrive today and start harvesting immediately. Tashima-kun, you will be invincible. What if you bear the infamy? As long as you can rise, then history will be written by you. Are you still worried about these mere infamy now? Hearing this, Tashima Ichiro's eyes went dark. Didn't I tell you to wait and see? Why do you act on your own? Ichiro Tashima's face changed drastically. Wait! The statue can't be sent to Daxia. Don't treat Daxia people as fools. If you want to send it far away. Or to some small countries with poor information. Things have become like this. He has no choice but to think about the next countermeasures. At this time, the cold white-haired assassin Hojo said, "Don't worry, Tashima. This woman has no brains. But our officials still have brains? I just asked the higher-ups, and they have decided to send it to the Northern Dynasty as the first stop. It is closer and safer. We can't move Daxia before we get rid of the shadow." Ichiro Tashima's eyelids twitched, and he always had a bad premonition. But now that things have come to this, he can only take one step at a time. As long as my attributes can be added up, all problems will be solved. This is not just Ichiro Tashima's idea. It's also the idea of other people in Ichiro Tashima's team. It was also the thought of officials in Sakura Country who learned of this top secret plan. Daxia Magic City. To Sakura Country East City, Hinfeng flew this route for the second time. All he saw along the way was the sea, which was a bit boring. It was a bit difficult to endure nearly an hour. Fortunately, there was a ghost by his side, and he could talk to her. There is land ahead. The ghost had been flying for so long, and she was confused and didn't know where she was. Finally, seeing the land ahead made her even more confused. Why was the murderer so far away? It took nearly an hour to fly at Osiris' supersonic speed. It's Sakura Country. Hinfeng reminded him. This reminder made the ghost dumbfounded. We actually went abroad. This girl was so stupid. She followed Qinfeng without knowing anything. Hinfeng had to wonder. If she was taken out and sold one day, she wouldn't know, right? At this time, Qinfeng and Guiling rode on Osirio's back, keeping their stealth status, and flew towards the coastline. According to Guiling's tracking skills, the murderer was getting closer and closer. From a distance, Hinfeng saw a heavy cargo ship in the direction of Dongdu Harbor, which was slowly leaving the port. On the ship, want to send it abroad. Qinfeng was thoughtful. Silently, Osirio flew over the deck of the cargo ship and saw many 10-meter-long containers, most of which were sleight of hand. The real long-tailed snake goddess statue was on one of the containers. Qinfeng took Guiling and jumped down directly and landed on the deck of the cargo ship. I wanted to kill the boss in the container directly. Suddenly, Qinfeng heard some officials from the Sakura Country talking and chatting on the deck, indistinctly. They talked about the Northern Dynasty and Duanchuan City. This made Qinfeng look strange. Are you going to transport the statue to the Northern Dynasty? Awesome. Should we record this and give it to the Northern Dynasty as a gift? Qinfeng used his old trick again. Remaining invisible, took out a light and shadow crystal, and directly recorded the secret conversation of these officials from the Sakura Country. During this time, several anti-stealth level 7 and 9 reconnaissance guards on the deck of the freighter were faithfully scouting the surrounding stealth units. Unfortunately, they were completely unaware of the existence of Qinfeng and the ghost. These people could never have imagined. After Qinfeng teleported away, he actually came back with people. And the most terrifying thing was that he directly and accurately found the location of the long-tailed snake goddess statue. This next, not only will the Sakura Country be left empty-handed, it will also face a serious diplomatic crisis. Soon, Qinfeng used a light crystal to collect evidence that officials of the Sakura Kingdom wanted to send the murderous statue to the Northern Dynasty. Then he planned to take action and kill the long-tailed snake demon. Although it has been a long journey, but I have gained at least 100,000 years of life. I can go back to the ruins of Dongdu and find the Temple of Faith of the Goddess of Death. In fact, 100,000 years of life is a bonus for Qinfeng. What is really important is the Temple of Faith of the Goddess of Death. After all, it is related to Qinfeng's second bloodline, Deathwing Angel. I hope to get the Deathwing feather from it, so that the second bloodline will be settled. Qinfeng remembered that the Eye of Knowledge said that in a small real area where more than 100,000 people died in a short period of time, a Death Goddess Faith Temple will appear in the corresponding game area between 12 to 24 hours. So Qinfeng was not in a hurry. It was just a little uncertain that the Deathwing feather was not 100% produced in the Temple of Faith. Qinfeng was still thinking. Can I do something to increase the probability? After all, it is not common to see a region where 100,000 people died in a short period of time. If I miss this opportunity, I don't know how long it will take for the next one. Just before Qinfeng took action, he asked Guiling to stay aside first, and then quietly jumped into the sea. Soon he found a group of monsters in the sea, which turned out to be a group of big-head fish that looked like they had been distorted by radiation. It's worthy of a small life. It's reasonable that such monsters would appear in the sea next to him. Qinfeng first marked the end of one of the strange big-head fish, and then cut all the big-head fish into two with a dark night ring blade, killing them instantly. With a full value of 100 combo points, he returned to the freighter. In order to avoid alerting the enemy, Qinfeng did not move the officials of the Sakura Country on the ship for the time being, but directly went invisible, used the special effects of the invisible shoes, passed through the container wall, and entered the container. Sure enough, he saw a statue of a long-tailed snake goddess lying on the ground, as luck would have it. When Qinfeng came in, he was directly facing the chest of the statue. You are still seducing me when you are about to die? Your crime is even worse? Qinfeng remained calm, even sneering secretly. So he stretched out his hand and pressed it on the statue in front of him, with his palm slightly curved, detecting order creation. Do you want to consume 24 points of divinity to break the effect? Bah. After breaking the effect, the order creation will return to its original state. It is indeed an order creation. Qinfeng breathed a sigh of relief. If the shell of this statue is a more advanced rule creation, then Qinfeng really can't break it. When this boss is in the statue state, it is invincible, and even Qinfeng can't kill it. But since the shell of this statue is an order creation, there is no problem. Although it consumes 24 points of divinity, it is okay for Qinfeng. Anyway, if she kills this epic boss now, she will gain at least 7,000 to 8,000 years of life, which is equivalent to 700 to 800 points of divinity. At this moment, the boss still knows nothing. Although she can sense the outside world and the state of the statue, Qinfeng, who is now in the invisible state, came silently, and she has no chance of noticing it at all. In the next moment, when Qinfeng chose to consume 24 points of divinity, the Blade of Judgment passed through the outer shell of the statue, and the entire outer shell of the statue was directly restored to an ancient godstone slab. The enchanting beauty snake with purple skin wrapped inside was startled by the sudden situation. Before she could react, Qinfeng's attack has arrived. Shadow of Sternness. Release the Shadow Clone. Grace of Liberation. Add the Cutthroat state. 1,000 Blades Break. Deal basic damage and additional weakness multiplier. Ruthless Cut. Add powerful bleeding damage. Finally, instant kill. Since Qinfeng's attribute values have been greatly improved, and his agility attribute has reached more than 3, his attack speed and skill release speed are faster than before, in just 3 seconds. He has completed all this. The reaction of the long-tailed snake demon was not slow. When the outer shell of the statue was broken, her first reaction was to escape, but she was originally lying on her side. Although this posture is very charming, it became an obstacle when she was suddenly attacked. When she just wanted to get up and raise her head, Qinfeng's final damage has already erupted. The Judgment Blade in his hand fell instantly, completely detonating the continuous damage attached to her body. The damage of cutting the throat broke her throat. Ruthless cutting combined with the bleeding damage of endless blood made her body spray with purple blood. The long-tailed snake demon didn't even see who killed her, and her eyes widened immediately. The head that had just been raised fell heavily into the container at a close distance. Even Qinfeng was covered with purple blood, as if he had been soaked in purple potion. Fortunately, the smell was not bad. Otherwise, it would be uncomfortable. At the same time as the long-tailed snake demon was killed, the system prompt sounded again in the minds of all players around the world. Player Shadow Daxia killed the epic boss, long-tailed snake demon Shimiya, and gained 100 reputation points. At this point, Qinfeng finally knew the name of this boss. I originally thought that when killing the boss, I would send the epic boss to the Judgment Land for trial. Such a strong guy, once judged, will definitely give a lot of benefit. Qinfeng felt a little pity. Sending the killer to the Judgment Land must be done at the moment of killing. So, if the boss is sent in, Qinfeng will not have the opportunity to release the Hand of Greed to touch the corpse. Based on the previous trial of the corpse collector Gao Xiaoyi, Qinfeng knew that if the target was killed in reality and sent to the Judgment Land, his corpse would disappear. What's more, if the epic boss is judged now, Qinfeng's divinity limit is not enough. It can't be judged even if it is sent in, so we can only talk about it later. So, Qinfeng raised his hand to release the Hand of Greed. Then he released the Flower Curse on the corpse of the beautiful snake. After absorbing an extra 3,000 years of life, the corpse of the beautiful snake was destroyed. This made Osiryu outside look sad. Alas, what a pity. We could have eaten it while it was hot. What a waste. Qinfeng was a little surprised when he heard it. Okay, I'll save it for you next time. I didn't expect you to like it. Osiryu, I'm talking about you. Just as Qinfeng was happily harvesting, the global announcement he made shocked everyone again. Of course, for many players in other regions, their reaction was just Shadow killed the epic boss again, and there was no other feeling, because they were numb. But for the players in Sakura Country, the situation was completely different. The vast majority of the people did not know the truth, and there were all kinds of speculations and discussions. The official said that the boss was not found. So how did Shadow find the boss and kill the boss? As for the officials of Sakura Country who knew about it, and the Tashima Ichiro team, their faces changed drastically. What? We hid the boss? And the boss was in an invincible statue state. How could he still be killed by Shadow? At this moment, Ichiro Tashima, Mina Yanagi, and officials of Sakura Country who were informed were all dumbfounded. The statue of the long-tailed snake goddess, fallen. Originally, they were thinking that they could use this thing to harm the Northern Dynasty and harvest some of Toshiro Tashima's full attributes, hoping that Toshiro Tashima would rise completely and crush the Shadow. As a result, this dream just started, and it was shattered in an instant. And this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is, when the long-tailed snake demon died and the ancient god slate in her hand was taken away by Qinfeng, all the players who had worshipped the statue and obtained the full attribute gain had a system prompt in their minds at the same time. The long-tailed snake demon, Samiya, has died. The illusion from the dream god on you disappeared, but already nearly 100,000 players had worshipped the statue, which made Toshiro Tashima's full attributes stacked by nearly 100 points. But now, all 10 points of all attributes of the players who worshipped the statue disappeared. Nearly 100 points of all attributes of Tashima Ichiro disappeared. This is normal. The key lies in the system prompt. Illusion from the dream god? I spent 100 days of my life, and you tell me it's an illusion? Those players who worshipped the statue suddenly felt uncomfortable as if they had eaten a fly, although they originally knew that the statue was brought by Tashima Ichiro. Many people spoke up for Tashima Ichiro and whitewashed him for the sake of 10 points of all attributes. It is completely forgivable to say that Tashima Ichiro did this to make Sakura Country stronger, but I never expected that the effect would disappear directly when the boss died, and tell them it was an illusion. Of course, the most uncomfortable people now are naturally Tashima Ichiro and his entire team. They were just dreaming of invincibility, but in the blink of an eye, the dream was shattered. They no longer had time to think about how Shadow found and killed the boss. There must be a traitor. Tell Daxia about this. The state must conduct a self-examination, Ichiro Tashima said indignantly, but now he has no time to care about the self-examination. When people found out that the attributes obtained by worshipping the statues were all illusion, Ichiro Tashima and his team were once again pushed to the forefront. In Dongdu and even in the whole Sakura country, the news spread, and countless people began to denounce him. Before, he was hit by the dream and killed people in Dongdu. This matter has not passed yet, and Ichiro Tashima is still guilty. Now there is another wave of statue murder, and so many people have been deceived to pay for their lives. But in the end, they got a bunch of illusions. Obviously, people don't think they are greedy or stupid. Instead, they blame everything on Ichiro Tashima. It was Ichiro Tashima who was tricked by the boss. I don't believe in the boss. I believe in Ichiro Tashima. That's right. If I was the first to worship, I would definitely see that this was the boss's trick. Ichiro Tashima's IQ is too low. My 10 points of all attributes? Shadow gave me all my attributes back, even if the system prompted that it was an illusion. But some people still didn't believe it, still denouncing Qinfeng privately. For this kind of people, Qinfeng's advice is to die early and be reborn early. Players with this kind of cognition are really stupid. They can't become strong in this life, they will die in the future. Qinfeng naturally didn't bother to care what the people in Sakura country think. When he finished dealing with the corpse of the long-tailed snake demon, he directly gave Guiling a teleportation stone and teleported back home with her. Then, Qinfeng directly found Wan Yueyu. He handed the light and shadow crystal that recorded the conversation of the officials of Sakura country to the other party. This is my gift to the Northern Dynasty. Just say that I am a good person. No need to thank me. Wan Yueyu was confused, but when he saw the content recorded in the light and shadow crystal, he became cautious. I understand. I will pass it on. Qinfeng could foresee it. Soon Tashima Ichiro's team will become a rat crossing the street, and everyone will shout and beat them. According to the memory of the previous life, Qinfeng knew that although the Northern Dynasty was not a big country, it was really good at fighting. Except for Daxia, they had basically touched all the surrounding areas, but they had not suffered any losses. With this light and shadow crystal as evidence, it can be imagined that the life of Sakura country will not be too good in the future. Qinfeng doesn't even need to take action personally to cause chaos in the other party's country. Even with my current strength, I can't do it with one blow. So, if we really want to kill them indiscriminately and force them into a corner, they will definitely attack Daxia. A desperate dog can jump over the wall, although no one in the Sakura country can do anything to Qinfeng. If they are facing the crisis of national extinction, the power that will erupt cannot be ignored. By then, no matter how prepared Daxia is, there will definitely be heavy casualties. In the final analysis, Qinfeng is not a completely selfish person. He will reasonably seize benefits from all sides for his own development. But if he harms others for the sake of development, countless Daxia people died, but Qinfeng still couldn't do it. Of course, if Qinfeng grows stronger and his attack range is large enough to cover the entire island, it will be another story. After returning to the Evil Spirit Academy, Qinfeng began to taste the equipment. What he paid most attention to was the bell that the long-tailed snake demon exploded. That's right, it's a mount bell. Qinfeng never expected that after this beautiful snake was killed, it would have a chance to become a mount and drop a mount bell. Good. It can really be ridden. Just when Qinfeng was about to summon the long-tailed snake demon mount to take a look, godforsaken game continent. The ruins of Zhanghai City, next to the eyeless stone man statue in the center of the ruins. A long-haired woman in a white priest robe was circling around, looking for something. Found it. Found it? It's this kind of boundary monument embedded in the stone pillar. After finding all the boundary monuments, this epic boss will be activated. As long as this boss is activated, it can be finally confirmed that the memories in my mind are real. The long-haired woman moved very slowly, because her legs were broken in reality. Her attributes in the game were greatly reduced, and her combat power was even worse than the level 1 monster crawler when she first entered the game. But her eyes flashed with excitement, and there was a hint of hatred. Finally, it can be confirmed that the memories in her mind are real, and based on some information she has secretly inquired about recently, she can completely figure it out. The shadow is Qinfeng. It is the brother who broke off relations with her. As long as it is confirmed, then I apologize and Qinfeng will forgive me. Although Qin Xiaoyu was very unhappy. After all, the other party was the world's #1 shadow. She felt that it was acceptable to apologize after a little grievance. Of course, the prerequisite for all this is to confirm that the memories in the mind are true. Only when those memories are identified as true, Qin Xiaoyu will really go to find Shadow, that is, Qinfeng. Because in this way, she can be sure that Shadow will not kill her. Otherwise, she is really afraid that she has recognized the wrong person and will be killed by Shadow. But as long as Shadow is Qinfeng, it's okay. He can't kill me. So the key now is to activate the boss in Qin Xiaoyu's memory. there are only scenes of fighting with this boss. She didn't know how to open and activate the boss, but after a few days of research, she found that there were some special boundary monuments in some ruins around the statue of the Eyeless Stone Man. There are patterns on those boundary monuments, which can be opened through the texture. Anyway, she couldn't level up, and she had nothing to do every day. So she ran over to search. At first, no one noticed, but at this time, Chen Wuming suddenly heard his subordinates report that Zhao Yu was suspicious and asked him to be careful. So Chen Wuming rode his mount to the vicinity of the Stone Man statue. He was arranging several female players to drag Qin Xiaoyu away, but Wang Meng suddenly passed by. "What are you doing?" Wang Meng passed by and saw several female players dragging Qin Xiaoyu and frowned immediately. Chen Wuming explained helplessly, "This woman is a bit problematic. I have to take her back and lock her up to prevent her from doing anything weird." Wang Meng saw Qin Xiaoyu and suddenly remembered who this person was. In fact, he also heard a while ago that there was a female player named Xiaoyu who had her legs sawed off by a murder. She was from the Knights Templar Guild. But Wang Meng didn't have any impression of her without seeing her, and he didn't remember who this person was. Until now, when he saw Zhao Yu with his own eyes, he suddenly remembered it. Wang Meng remembered that he had taken this girl with him when he was still in the novice town, but she was too weak, so he changed her. Later, this girl contacted him several times, but he forgot. Wang Meng suddenly remembered something that happened 800 years ago. Oh my god, I seem to have blocked all the messages I sent her. No wonder I forgot about her. Wang Meng slapped his forehead and felt a little guilty. Well, if she wants to stay nearby, let her stay nearby. Wang Meng waved his hand and said, "Even if there are monsters around here, there are our official guards guarding it. It's very safe and nothing will happen to her." Hearing this, Chen Wuming looked helpless. "No, Brother Wang, we are not afraid that she will encounter danger, but she is a danger." Wang Meng disagreed. Her legs are broken. What danger can there be? You, the president, are afraid of her. Chen Wuming was a little helpless, thinking that this is really scary. But Wang Meng quickly said, "No matter how bad she is a member of your guild. You won't restrict her personal freedom after she joins your guild, right?" Faced with this, Chen Wuming could only shake his head. "That's it." Wang Meng smiled and patted his shoulder. "She has lost her legs. There is nothing wrong with relaxing here. Let her walk." Since Wang Meng said so, Chen Wuming could only take her away. The main reason was that Chen Wuming really didn't have a very suitable reason to take her away. You can't say that you think she is a Jing, right? Wang Meng definitely doesn't believe this reason. Of course, after Chen Wuming left, Wang Meng didn't stay there. He had a lot of things to do, so he just nodded to Qin Xiaoyu, said hello and left. And Qin Xiaoyu was relieved. She ignored Wang Meng or anything. If it were before, she would definitely take this opportunity to try to get in touch with Wang Meng. But now, what lies before her is the shadow. We must speed up. Qin Xiaoyu turned around and continued to search. As a result, within 2 minutes, she suddenly dug up a ruin and found the surface of another boundary monument. This is the 9th boundary monument she has found. When she picked up the rubble around the boundary monument and threw it away, she was exhausted. But soon the front of the boundary monument was exposed. When she raised her hand and gently brushed the pattern on the front of the boundary monument, suddenly, a shaking sound came from behind her. "Here it comes, here it comes." Qin Xiaoyu turned around with great excitement. At the same time, Chen Wuming and his guild members did not go far, and even left a girl to watch Qin Xiaoyu. Wang Meng was also waiting for people and explaining things not far away. When the shaking sound came, thousands of people around all headed towards the eyeless stone in the center. The headman statue looked over. The statue, which was more than 10 meters high, had been in the center of the ruins without any movement, but now it suddenly moved. The broken stones on its body fell off, and the huge stone arms slowly raised towards the surroundings. At the same time, a line of words appeared above its head. 9 Realm Stone Governor Hartman Love 30. Grade Epic. As the Stone Man statue came to life, 9 boundary monuments rose up in the ruins around it. The 9 stone boundary monuments unfolded in the air and formed 9 white portals. Activated. Really activated. Qin Xiaoyu turned around and looked at this scene, and immediately burst into tears. Because this means that the memory in her mind is true. She felt that she would soon end these hard days. As long as she apologized to Qin Feng, Haim Feng would help her find a way to treat her legs. Qin Xiaoyu was in great pain after losing her legs for so many days. Qin Feng, are you still a human being? When Qin Xiaoyu thought of this, she hated him so much. You abandoned me after you were reborn and rose up, even if I made a little mistake. Can't you tolerate me? Forget it. I'll apologize to you first. Some accounts will be settled with you later. Qin Xiaoyu thought bitterly. Just then, cousin, what are you doing here? A female subordinate of Chen Wuming left here was furious when she saw the epic boss appear next to her. Did you create this epic boss? Do you know how many people will be killed? Qin Xiaoyu looked expressionless, raised his chin and glanced at her. You scold me. right? When my brother comes, you will die miserably. As for this boss, it's just a chicken epic boss. When my brother comes, he will kill it in 2 strokes. He will also praise me for opening an epic boss for him. MDZ. The female subordinate of Chen Wuming was too lazy to say more to her. After all, I did hear that this girl has mental problems and thinks Shadow is her brother. Fuck. It's an epic boss. Chen Wuming also ran away while cursing. I knew that woman was hanging around here. And it must be bad. She actually created an epic boss? When the epic 9-realm stone supervisor was activated, all the players in the surrounding trading markets and team squares instantly fled. Wang Meng immediately issued a warning and evacuation order on the spot on behalf of the official. In a hurry, Wang Meng glanced at Qin Xiaoyu in the distance. She was standing alone in the ruins, with excitement and expectation on her face. She raised her head and looked at the epic boss that was more than 10 meters high, without any fear. Is this person really sick? Did she open the ba? Wang Meng was shocked. This made Wang Meng regret it instantly, and even wanted to slap himself 100 or 80 times. Why is he so mean? If Chen Wuming had just dragged the man away, wouldn't everything have been fine? But now, quickly asked Shadow to come. After so many words, it all came down to these 4 words. A few minutes ago, Qin Feng took Giling home with him and was about to check the harvest of this trip, since the epic boss was killed in reality. Qin Feng did not gain experience points, but other loot dropped normally. Moreover, the loot dropped in this way does not need to spend life to extract it to reality, because it was originally dropped in reality. In addition, these loot will be directly projected and copied in the game. If it is a skill book type of loot, then this skill book will be copied to the game after it is learned in reality, and there is no need to extract anything. This is also the only advantage of killing boss in reality. So, Qin Feng went online directly. He came to the ground area of the Evil Spirit Academy with Gui Ling and counted the loot together. This area is now the base of the Sky Dome Guild. The buildings that were asked to be repaired by Lao Zheng have been repaired, and many other residential buildings have been built, and a lot of greening has been added. Compared with the initial ruins, the current ground area of the Evil Spirit Academy looks like a modern university campus, with dormitories, libraries, teaching buildings, etc. Even in reality, it is the same. When most people in the world are in life and death crisis and lifespan is in short supply, the happiness of the members of the Sky Guild is definitely at the forefront of the world. When Qin Feng returned, he came to a private territory. In this ground area, there is a park, which is the private area specially prepared by Zhang Jingxuan for Qin Feng, without Qin Feng's permission. Other players will not enter this area. This area is not small, thousands of square meters, with a beautiful environment, and even rockery and pools. They are all parks created by professional designers through the Book of God. Came to the open space in the park. There was no one around. So Qin Feng took out the Mount Bell. Mount Bell Ancient God Betrayer, Long-Tailed Snake Demon Shemiya. After use, summon Long-Tailed Snake Demon Shemiya LV30, who can help in battle or be ridden. Acquired level 30 Soul Binding Untradeable. Epic. Once a devout believer of the Dream God, she led her tribe, the Long-Tailed Snake Tribe, to fight for the Dream God. But after the whole tribe was killed, she betrayed the Dream God. She has a breathtaking beauty and has lost trust in everyone. Qin Feng glanced at the introduction of the bell and probably understood why this beautiful snake became a boss. It turned out that she betrayed the Dream God. However, as far as Qin Feng knew, all the ancient gods had died so far. As for what happened, there was no way to verify it. Unexpectedly, this beautiful tribe leader of the Long-Tailed Snake Tribe who betrayed the ancient gods is still alive today. Qin Feng directly shook the bell to summon her out. Suddenly, a giant creature with a human body and a snake tail, 7 meters tall, appeared in front of Qin Feng. Her upper body was wrapped in a purple robe, and her long purple hair hung down her back, looking mysterious and charming. Her lower body was a purple-skinned snake tail, covered with small purple snake scales, presenting a perfect streamlined shape. Qin Feng checked her attributes. Ancient God Betrayer Long-Tailed Snake Demon, Shemiya, LV30. Grade, Epic Soulbound Untradeable. Strength, 1284. Constitution, 1498. Agility, 11.7. Spirit, 1679. HP, 195. Zelzen. Amphibious. Activated when used as a mount. Land speed increased by 400%. Water speed increased by 700%. Bah. Void Pull. Release the Void Pull Sphere, which will form a suction force on enemies within a range of 80 meters and continuously cause void damage. Basic casting time is 5 seconds, lasts for 12 seconds, and has a cooldown of 300 seconds. Snaketail Swing. Knock back enemies within a range of 30 meters, causing physical damage and control strength, 720%. Cooldown of 12 seconds. And run. Void Walk. Enter the illusory state. Become the unselectable state, and can fly. Flying speed is the same as the speed in water. During the duration, it will not receive any physical elemental damage, nor will it be affected by the superordinate affixes, and lasts for 20 seconds. Cooldown of 10 minutes. Charades. When riding, the rider will enter the Void Walk state together. Ruin Thunder Summoning. Summon lightning from the ancient ruins with the Void Spear, which can be infinitely transmitted between enemies for 15 seconds. Cooldown of 300 seconds. Qinfeng looked at the attributes and was a little surprised. This mount is actually amphibious. The swimming speed bonus in water is as high as 700%. You should know that, although the level of Osiris has been upgraded and the flying speed in the air is faster, its flying speed bonus is only 410%. So, if I ride this long-tailed snake demon to Sakura country now, it only takes half an hour. If I want to go to North America in the future, the speed across the Pacific Ocean will be faster. Qinfeng's eyes lit up. Moreover, when releasing the Void Walk, it can also fly and take the rider into the Void state. It seems pretty good. Qinfeng was quite satisfied. After changing from the boss template to the mount template, Samiya's combat power has undoubtedly decreased greatly. And the most important thing is that the upper affix is gone. Originally, the attack was accompanied by the instant death affix energy, but now this effect is lost. But under the mount template, her upper resistance in all aspects has not been weakened. This is why Osiris has always been following Qinfeng and participating in various battles, but has never worried about being affected by the upper affix. Whether it was Osirio or Samiya, they were transformed from the former boss template to the mount template, and all the superordinate affixes on their bodies were transformed into resistance. This made them more resistant to superordinate affixes than when they were boss templates. At this time, the long-tailed snake demon Samiya was summoned. She opened her purple eyes and saw Qinfeng, the ghost spirit, and Osirio, who was lying on the side and bored. She seemed to realize what happened, and then she breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out that she was not dead. She just became a mount. Boss, I have a question. Samiya hadn't spoken yet. Osirio raised one wing first and asked curiously, if her two-shaped body becomes a mount, where should she ride? In front or in the back? Qinfeng was convinced. Hearing this, Shamia glanced at Osirio coldly. What's your business? Damn, this is too fierce. Osirio was immediately unhappy. Boss! Ride her quickly and let her know who is her master. Qinfeng looked at the 2-story high long-tailed snake demon in front of him and thought to himself that Osirio was right. This beautiful snake was indeed fierce. Of course. In fact, Qinfeng was really curious how to ride this beautiful snake with a human body and a snake tail. If you really want to ride this long-tailed snake demon, you can probably only sit on her shoulders or sit on her tail. But if you ride the tail, the position is too low and the field of vision is not very good. Go and try. Qinfeng patted the little lowly ghost beside him.